Hey, good evening. It's Friday night, 9 o'clock, 1 minute after 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Kathey Batey here with Divorce Support Anonymous, wanting to touch base with you, give you some, first of all, hope, and also some direction and some tools to use as you go through the trauma of divorce. So many of you all of you are in different stages of divorce. Some of you are just finding out. Some of you are in the thick of it. Some of you are beyond it and yet still recovering from it. I want to be aware of all of those stages of divorce, but tonight I want to have a specific area for those of you who are new to the divorce world. So before we get into tonight's topic, I do want to, of course, a couple of announcements. Would love to have your questions. If you have questions, comments, be more than happy to respond to those. And also news, if you're in the Grand Rapids area, I am starting the next support group September 14th, and that is in person in Keystone Community Church. That's in Ada, outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Connect with me for registration form. We'll spend 10 weeks together to get you through the trauma of divorce. And then the next night, following night, September 15th, a Zoom group is going to begin. Again, a support group. So we are going to be coming together via Zoom, and we will be discussing all of those very important topics as you go through the trauma of divorce. So, good about the announcements. Got those all in. So, there are so many topics that I could discuss on divorce. It is an endless topic because of the effects that it has on every area of your life. I'm a firm believer in this, and it does affect every area of your life. So I want to cover all of your needs, quite honestly. I want to cover every topic to help you, to get you through this situation. So what I did is I went and I Googled the top topics that people request about divorce. So these are some of the lists, and I decided I am simply going to go through this entire list and cover every one of these topics. Now, I've already covered many of them, and I will continue to go in different areas with each of these topics, but I wanted just to make sure that I'm covering all of the essentials, because truly I could go in so many different directions. My book series, the 3 books of Suddenly Single, are going to get you through divorce and then build your life after divorce and then the first year after divorce. So those are some tools, and there's other tools that we'll talk about today. Healing, 30 days of healing after divorce. We have to heal. There's so many areas of our life that must be healed. Other topics that I cover. But I want to concentrate on this list. And so that's what we're going to do for probably, it's probably about 30 topics here. So probably for the whole month of September. We're going to talk tonight about mediation for divorce. Forgive the dog. She's a little impatient with me right now, but you'll have to bear with her because I can't move from the spot to go get her. So we're going to talk about mediation for divorce, divorce depression, going through your second divorce. How do I file for divorce? How do I get divorce support? How do I get divorce help? Parental rights. I still love my ex. That's a topic we're going to cover. How do I get the care I need for divorce? Child support, parenting plans, parental rights, quadros, and the list goes on. So those are the topics that we're going to cover for the month of September. I want to cover every one of these and more. So stay tuned, stay with us, and of course, shoot me your questions. If you have a question, you really don't want to go onto this broadcast, that's okay. You can text it to me. I gave you that number up here. Write that number down and shoot me your question, and I would be more than happy to respond to it. So please feel free to do that. So tonight we're going to talk about mediation in divorce. A very important topic because in many counties, the courts are ordering divorce cases to mediation first. The reason that they're doing that is really to clear the court system some, so we can take care of as much as the parties can agree on, we can take care of in mediation. In fact, sometimes it's a full agreement, so it means every aspect of divorce is covered and settled in the mediation. Everything about the divorce is settled, and so what we do from there is we can just take that and create a judgment of divorce, submit it to the court, and we are done. The divorce is final. Of course, depending on the parameters of 6 months if you're going through a divorce with minor children, 60 days if you have no minor children. But within that, we can get a lot of things accomplished in mediation. So I am a mediator. I've been mediating for the past 9 years. I've been in the divorce work for the past 15 years. And what I have found in mediation is a lot of saved time, saved energy, saved stress, because you don't have to wonder what the judge is going to decide when he hears your case. You don't have to go to trial and be adversarial. You can actually come together, cooperate, and get things settled. And yes, that's true. Even if you're no longer getting along with your spouse, you're no longer talking with your spouse amicably, we can do that in mediation. I've seen it time and time again. So it's possible. So let's start with this one. What is mediation? Mediation is recognized by the courts that you can come together of your own free will. This dog's going to drive me crazy. Sorry. You can come together of your own free will. I think I'm going to have to pick her up so you won't have to be irritated by her barking. So hold on 1 second. Come here. Okay, so now we're happy, maybe. This is Kitty. She's making lots of noises, so I'll hold her so we won't have noises. So mediation is the opportunity to come together and settle the disagreement, to resolve all of the issues. Now, it's of your own free will that you go. The courts require it sometimes, but that means you just show up. You can show up and say, I don't want to mediate. In that case, the next step is going to be that you're going to go into the court process. So this allows you to have say over your divorce. So if you can come together and you can discuss every issue of the divorce, you can come to an agreement. So as a mediator, I have a list of an opening statement that I use. I talk about the benefits of mediation. Now you have the authority to make this determination, not an outside source, not the court system, but you have the opportunity not to get everything you want, not to have everything perfectly fair, but you have a right to say how things are going to go. This involves your assets, your debts, your retirement, your co-parenting, child support, spousal support, retirement. I think I said that. All of the issues of divorce, you and your soon-to-be former spouse can sit down and resolve these issues. Now, I don't know about you, but I would much rather do that myself instead of having someone else dictate that to me. So that's the benefits. And your mediator, what is a mediator? A mediator is a neutral third party who is not there to advise you, but simply to be in charge of the process to get you to come to an agreement. Not by force. If you're not willing to, you're not willing to. Then we throw up our hands and you go into the court system. But you can get all of it, at least sometimes part of it. There is a partial agreement that you might be able to reach. That means that that aspect, that part of it is off the table. Now all you have to go to the courts for is to resolve that which you could not settle. So mediation is done primarily with attorneys, but not always. The majority of mediations that I conduct have attorneys with them. So you are there with your attorneys and you are there with your soon-to-be former spouse. So it is a confidential discussion. So that means that you can't take it into the court system. The court honors this space and this place for mediation. So you can't take it into the court system and say, but you said in mediation, it doesn't work that way. It is a confidential setting. And that is a good thing because you have the freedom to be creative, to come up with some ideas, to put things on the table. What if this? What if this? How about to really negotiate without anyone holding you to it unless you sign the written agreement, which we'll talk about shortly. So mediation, another great thing is you can always have a timeout. You could be in the middle of the mediation and say, wait, I need a timeout. I need to think. I need to pray. I need to consult my sister, who's my best friend and is helping guide me through this. I need clarity. I need to have a cigarette break, even though I never smoked a day in my life. All of those things. You can have a timeout. We call it a caucus. You can have a timeout because you never want to feel pressured. And if anyone is pressuring you in a mediation, they're doing it all wrong. And I have heard horror stories of mediations. That's why it's really helpful to know what to expect when you go into a mediation. So you don't feel like you're intimidated or the mediator or the other attorney or your attorney for that matter is trying to talk you into something. No, you should never, ever be in that situation. So take the time out. Take the time out. So the whole goal of this mediation is if you come to an agreement, you sign it into a written document, which is called an agreement. This agreement, when it is signed by both parties, is legally binding. It's legally binding. So you want to be very, very careful what you put your signature to. And for those who go to mediation without an attorney, my words of advice always are, you should take this to an attorney to sit down with you and review this agreement before you sign it. Because once you sign it, it's too late. And if you're without an attorney, there are a lot of legal implications that you probably don't see. There may be tax ramifications, there may be penalties, there may be other expenses that you don't see, such as I'm going to refinance the house. Well, that costs money. So if you're mediating without an attorney, you should always have an attorney sit down with you and go through that document before you sign it. Let's see. As a mediator, I'm not there to judge right or wrong. As long as the both of you agree to it, it works for you, it's a done deal. A mediator is not there to give advice. Again, let me say that. Her job or his job is to be in charge of the process. I like to say I'm like the machine here. I'm in charge of the process. I don't make any decisions. You don't have to persuade me that you're right or wrong. Some people feel that they do, but you don't. It doesn't matter what the mediator thinks, and they shouldn't be telling you what they think. They are a neutral party in charge of the process. Deal in the facts. Oh, that's so important. When you come into a mediation, unfortunately, your relationship now is a business transaction. So when you do a business transaction, you want to have your best business sense. That means you're dealing in facts, not emotions. And I get it. I get how emotional it is and can be. There's other places and other outlets for those emotions. But in mediation, deal in the facts. And also, don't come to mediation trying to punish the other person. Don't do it. It's not helping you at all. So if you consider If it is a mediation with attorneys, you've got 2 attorneys that you're paying there. Average price probably about $3.50 an hour. And then you've got your mediator there, who's probably a couple of $100 an hour. So you could be spending $1,000 an hour in mediation. So you want to have your best business sense. You want to deal in the facts and not the emotions. You want to get this taken care of as quickly, as efficiently as possible. So deal in the facts. Don't try to punish the other person. I hope that's of help. I don't see any questions coming in. That's okay. We will keep moving through. I hope that's helpful. In fact, we're at almost 17 minutes right now. I wonder if I should leave the other part and go into greater detail, because this is pretty heavy. So I think I will. I think I'll wait till next week. And what we'll discuss next week is how do I prepare for mediation, at which point I'm going to direct you to this workbook that is free at no cost. It's a download I will send to you to help you prepare for mediation or for seeing your attorney for the first time. I'll also discuss next week guidelines for mediation. We'll talk more of what's expected of you and how do you present and all kinds of other information that are important for you to know. And then also we're going to talk about some mediation horror stories. So you can watch out for what might be happening in mediation that is not ethical, that is not right, that may actually harm you financially and many other ways in the future. So we'll talk about those next week. I don't want to go too long because I know I'll lose you. So we went 18 minutes. That's plenty for this information. I hope this has been of help. Feel free to give me a shout out if you have any questions. If you would like this workbook, we'd gladly send it over to you to download, and you can use it as a tool. Hope that's been of help. I am here to help you, to assist you in ways in which you can get through this divorce with the least amount of damage, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. With that, we'll call it a good night. Oh, wait, I have one comment. Thank you, very informative. Thank you, Cindy, for stating that. So there's a lot of information to put into these 18 minutes. So if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you. And this is Kathey Batey with Divorce Support Anonymous. We'll talk soon.